Hello everyone, welcome back. It is Halloween night of 2022 as I'm voicing this video over. This was filmed yesterday on the 30th of October 2022. And today's video will attempt to answer a few commonly asked questions. Number one, first and foremost, when can I expect my pawpaws to be ripe? And number two, will pawpaws ripen after a heavy frost, after a dusting of snow, or when the leaves fall off the trees? So we'll try to answer all of those questions. Number one, the short answer to the second part is yes. In our experience, our pawpaws have ripened just fine after several hard frosts. In October, we had probably out of the 30 days, 10 hard frosts, I would say. I'm just off the top of my head, at least a third, if not every other night in October, we got pretty good frost. We actually also got snow once or twice, just a little dusting, nothing crazy. So all the leaves tended to fall off the trees pretty quickly, depending on variety though. That seems to be a variety dependent kind of thing, as you'll see here. This Shenandoah has two fruit, lonely fruit just hanging on there. It's like the only thing on the tree. And take a look at those. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, I picked those yesterday on the 30th of October. They're nice and soft, aromatic, and they'd seen several hard frosts. And as you can see, there's really no leaves on that tree to speak of. So they certainly will ripen that way. So as I zoom out here, yeah, there's the Shenandoah, just a couple leaves that probably only on there because of the netting that's strung up on it. And if I turn over a little to the left here, here's our NC1. All the leaves are on there, but they're brown, kind of crinkly. Then we have the Allegheny. The leaves just fell off that green as soon as it frosted, pretty much. They didn't even turn color. And then Overleaves is sort of somewhere in between. So it seems to be variety dependent. And you'll see at the end of the video, we have a mango seedling pawpaw tree. Oh, there's a little bud on that Overleaves, so it'll flower next year at least, for pollination if nothing else. But the mango seedling is just this beautiful yellow pawpaw tree. So here's our forecast for the next 10 days. So like I was mentioning, our weather has been like a yo-yo in October, so cold, warm, cold, warm. Here's our 10-day forecast. So tomorrow's November 1st. It's going to be 58 degrees, and then as we look through the week, there's mid to high 60s, even low 70s for high, lows in the 50s. So all those sunflower pawpaws that you saw on that tree that were pretty hard are just starting to soften up a little bit right now. But this is about the perfect pawpaw ripening weather here. Every day when I go out, there's a few more on the ground. Although the ones on the ground have been a little hard, the ones on the tree are the ones that are getting softer, which is kind of weird. But we're novices at this, so this is just sort of our experience and our observations, so I hope it helps somebody. But they certainly will ripen after a cold snap, because October, as I mentioned, was chilly. We had a whole week in mid-October where it was like 40s for a high every day for a week, almost a week. It was like 5 or 6 days, and lows in the 20s. And it didn't seem to bother the fruit at all, because it at least got warm enough each day that they weren't just like frozen all day long or anything like that. And so obviously once winter sets in, they're not going to ripen. But you know, when you have warm spots and then cold spells, it doesn't seem to really bother the tree, which sort of makes sense because they are a native plant. So let's take a look at some of the fruit that's come off the trees lately. So here's our ripening box. I have sort of a tally there of fruit we've actually eaten, 7 Shenandoah and 1 sunflower so far. Here's a bunch that have come off this weekend. Now some of these that look really green, the tree, they were on the ground anyway. That's the sunflower. I'm just labeling them the day they dropped, trying to be as scientific as possible here so that I'll kind of know next year what to expect, because as I mentioned, we've never had a sunflower fruit until this year. And we only had 3 Shenandoah, but the tree branch broke off last year, like in the first week of October, so I have no idea till this year. But these are all drops, and so like that's starting to look really good. That sunflower is starting to get yellow and smell really nice, but still a tad firm. So we'll give it like a week in this box. It'll be gorgeous. That one's pretty green, but it was on the ground, so nothing you can do. Might as well throw it in here, see what happens. Take a look at this little guy. This thing is tiny. I've never seen a pawpaw that small. We'll see how it tastes. But those we'll just leave in this box with a towel over them and just let them go. So this is kind of the summation of our experience this year, and hopefully you find this helpful. Again, we're in Zone 5, south of Buffalo in western New York, so you have to remember that your microclimate, your zone, all those things play a role. But this information, maybe it'll be helpful to you. And also there are earlier and later varieties. Sunflower is a late variety, which we're finding. Shenandoah is a tad earlier. So our Shenandoahs, we had 11 fruits, and the ripening window is what I'm calling when the fruits are ready to come inside and sit on the counter for about a week, and then maybe 5 days to a week, and then they're perfect to eat. So for us, that was October 17th to October 31. I'm calling it 31, even though I picked those fruit yesterday, the last two you saw in the video. That was also last night, so I'm just going to call it the 31st for general purpose. And the sunflower, the first one fell off the tree on the 28th, and we have like probably 25 fruit still on that tree right now as we speak on Halloween night. And I'm thinking that this week, first week in November, all that nice weather we're having should ripen them up beautifully, and they'll be ready to go. So I'm going to call that October 28th to November 7th. A late variety, but totally doable. So here's our mango seedling right next to our Tetu seedling that has no leaves whatsoever. So variety makes such a big difference, like anything. Apples are the same way. So they're just a fun tree. So thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful, and hopefully you can use this information in your own planning or your own pawpaw orchards.